Before the sun ever touched the land, he was already awake, not because an alarm rang, but because the farm demanded it. In a quiet rural village where mornings began with mist and soil, a young boy learned early that survival came before dreams. His days started in the fields, barefoot on rough earth, hands gripping tools older than his ambitions. Every harvest was a lesson in discipline, every sunrise a reminder that life here followed one path and rarely offered another. His hands were small, but the work was heavy. Crops didn't care about age or dreams. The land stretched endlessly before him, beautiful yet confining. Out here, futures were inherited, not imagined. People grew up to become what their parents had been, and the cycle repeated itself without question. Sometimes he paused, not to rest, but to wonder. While other children walked toward classrooms with notebooks in hand, he remained under the burning sun, sweat tracing lines down his face. And in the quiet of those moments, a dangerous thought formed in his mind. Is this all life will ever be? When night came, exhaustion followed him home, but curiosity followed too. Inside a small house with little more than the basics, he discovered something powerful, an old book. Its pages were worn, but to him they felt alive. Under the faint glow of a lantern, he studied, not because it was easy, but because it felt like hope. Every word opened a door to a world far beyond the fields. At school, someone noticed. A teacher saw past dusty clothes and tired eyes and recognized hunger, the hunger to learn, to rise, to become more. One day, a piece of paper changed everything. A scholarship letter. Not just financial help, but permission to dream out loud. Joy came quickly, followed by fear. Leaving meant walking away from the land, from his parents, from everything familiar. It meant stepping into the unknown, but the road ahead was calling, and he answered. University was overwhelming. Tall buildings, fast conversations, students who spoke confidently about technology, startups, and futures that felt distant from his own. The first time he touched a computer, his hands hesitated, not from fear, but from possibility. He knew he was behind, but he also knew how to endure. Nights grew longer, failures became frequent, rejection emails stacked up, glowing on a laptop screen that refused to offer comfort. But he didn't stop. He learned what others took for granted, slowly and painfully, the same way he had learned to work the land, with patience and persistence. The journey carried him farther than he ever imagined, from farmland to cities, from classrooms to offices. He wrote code the same way he once pulled crops from the soil, focused, disciplined, determined. Ideas turned into products, products turned into impact. One day, he found himself in Silicon Valley, surrounded by glass buildings and bold visions. Yet even there, among innovation and ambition, he remained grounded by where he came from. He walked those halls not as an outsider, but as proof that persistence travels well. Success didn't harden him, it refined him. He began investing, not just money, but belief, in founders without privilege, in dreamers without connections, in people whose stories reminded him of his own beginnings. Eventually, he returned home, not to escape the past, but to transform it. Schools were built, technology hubs emerged, children touched computers for the first time, seeing futures they never knew were possible. Standing between farmland and city skylines, his story became clear. The hands that once harvested crops now helped grow ideas, because where you begin does not define where you end. Sometimes the future is funded by someone who once had nothing except the courage to keep going.